Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is staying warm on this wonderful February 4th afternoon. This is Walk With Me in Real Estate. I'm Kevin Bentley. I work for Century 21 Professionals out of the Troy office. Give me a call if you need anything, any help in real estate, 248-568-7763. As promised last week, this week's City of the Week, we're going to talk about Birmingham and the Birmingham real estate market. So let's go through the statistics. First, the days on market average has been 43 in January. That's up from December, probably 10%, something like that. You're going to see some of these, several of these are a little bit kind of depressed this month, but that's the slowest month of the year. It's to be expected. No worries. Active listings, we've got 234, down slightly from December, and below average for the entire year last year. Median price, this one surprised me. The median price is $215,500, down significantly from December of 2024. I would expect that to go up. I suspect that has more to do with the denominator there and the number of properties that were actually sold versus anything major really happening in the market. List price per square foot is just a little bit flat. We're coming in at about $267 a square foot. All of these are kind of slightly depressed, as I said. I would expect all of these to improve as we get into the spring market, where people are starting to think about buying their homes. They want to get in at the early part of the summer, that kind of thing, so the kids can settle in before school next year if they're going to move into a new neighborhood. The school district in Birmingham Public Schools, has excellent ratings. I looked on a website called niche.com. Niche.com does a couple of things. They talk about how they rate school districts for real estate, but they also rate school districts for academic world as well. They use the ratings to evaluate schools that they don't know about. It kind of sounds funny in an academic world, but sometimes colleges want to just take a look at the schools, so they'll use their numbers. The overall rating for Birmingham Public Schools on niche.com is an A+. That number is made up of several things. First thing, academics. The academics rating is an A+. Teachers, the teachers are all, and their credentials, that sort of thing, have all been rated with an A+. Clubs and activities have an A+. There's plenty of things to do if you have a student there. Diversity, they rate a B-, which is not horrible, but it's not what you'd come to expect in Birmingham with the other A+ and A's that are going on here. College prep is definitely an A+, and administration is also an A. So all those together rate as an A+ for the overall rating for the Birmingham Public Schools. I can tell you that it's a great school system. My son went through the school system. He graduated from Seaholm High School here in Birmingham. He had a great experience and is doing very well in life as a result. I'm sure much of it is because of his education here in Birmingham. There's no questions on that. If you do have questions on that, please feel free to email me, kevinsb century21@gmail.com. Send me a note if you got questions, anything you want to know about real estate in the Birmingham area, or anything I've talked about here on the show. Let me know. You can also text me at 248-568-7763. Let me know what you're thinking if you've got any questions on the show. Next, we're going to talk about real estate investing and how you would go about it if that's something you're interested in. So the first part of the show, Birmingham market, that kind of thing, I was talking about how what the market is, but that's all residential stuff. If you're moving in and moving your family in and you're just looking for a new home. Real estate investing is a little different. So you're looking at properties to buy and hold, buy and rent, buy and flip, those sorts of things. And there are some pretty good opportunities out there right now. So if you're going to try this, one of the things that I've got for you, you need to figure out, what is your goal? Do you have plenty of money to live off of and cash flow to live off of, and this, so you're only looking for something to invest for capital gains? That's okay. That's one strategy. You can do that and get, so maybe you can flip properties, and flipping a property would create capital gain for you. You make money, it's good. But if you're looking for cash flow coming in to cover expenses that you've got to live off of, to create cash flow for other investments while you're doing, you probably want to go to a buy and hold, in which case you would rent out the property. Hopefully you've got the rent set in such a way that you're making money on the property. First thing to think about. Second thing to think about, how are you going to finance this? Financing is not easy. Cash, you have to have a lot of cash to get started on this if you're going to do this. I don't hear of a whole lot of land contracts, although there are people trying, but I don't hear a whole lot of land contracts or offers being accepted. So you got to find somebody who's willing to finance this. This is different than a conventional mortgage for a home that you're going to live in. This is probably 25% down minimum. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to make the monthly payment if you can't rent it out. Those sorts of things. So I encourage you to, if this is something you want to do, start talking to lenders before you start looking for properties, because the last thing you want to do is you want to put an offer in and you can't figure out how you're going to finance it yet, and that takes time and you lose the deal because of that. So get that part set up first so that you know what's going on. Talk to the lenders, tell them what you want to do, tell them the kind of the price range that you're looking for, that kind of thing. They'll tell you what you qualify for and how you want to do that. Sometimes the properties qualify themselves for rental properties, big rental buildings, 4, 5, 6 units in a rental building, something like that. If they're rented, those can create an opportunity that's a different kind of a mortgage as well, but so that it works on its own. It finances itself, I'll say it that way. Next thing you want to talk about, you're going to need some insurance for liability. You're going to need some insurance on the property, all of those sorts of things. But you're also probably going to want to set up an LLC. You don't want to do this in your own name. The last thing you want is somebody suing you personally for something that was not it was your responsibility because you own the property. However, you didn't do it wrong. It's just somebody was living there, and I don't know what, the guy who was responsible for mowing the lawn didn't, and somebody tripped or whatever. Anyway, think about those kinds of things. That's kind of the basics on what you got to set up. When you get a little further into it, you're going to want to talk about, you're going to have to evaluate yourself very closely. Are you a person that can go in and change out a water heater on your own? You've got the tools for that, the knowledge for that, and the energy to do that. A furnace. Can you do drywall work? Can you repaint? That's a little on the easier end. It's cosmetic work. Can you replace windows? Do you have the understanding and the tools to be able to replace a window that's been knocked out, or just old windows that need to be repaired and replaced in a building? Think about those things, because that will lead to the next question, where you will talk about, do you want a property manager to professionally manage this? Because that's a different cash flow problem. Now you've got to figure out what your rent needs to be, and do you have enough rent to be able to pay this person to manage the property for you? Most of the ones that I'm hearing talk about, somewhere around 10%, maybe 15% of the monthly rent stays with the property manager to be able to manage the property and do what needs to be done. And there are varying levels of that. The property manager might be the person that comes out and mows the lawn and removes the snow, but you might work the deal with the tenant that says, all right, we'll give you a month, we'll give you a break on the rent if you keep the lawn mowed and keep the sidewalk shoveled and the driveway shoveled in the wintertime, that kind of thing. Those are all things you need to think about. How are you going to handle it on the properties that you have? Where are the properties? What kind of tenants will you be getting? Are you in the city someplace in kind of the cheaper districts to buy, where you might get somebody who's Section 8 and the rent just goes directly into your account from the city, that kind of thing? Or are you going to be someplace else where they're a little bit more expensive? Maybe you've got college kids living in the apartments in your properties, and those sorts of things. Those are different types of problems, different kinds of clientele, different things that you need to pay attention to while you're renting the property, while you own the property, the upkeep, all of that sort of thing. Once you decide all of these things out on whether you're going to do the repairs yourself, whether somebody's going to manage it, whether you're going to hire out contractors to do all of the repairs, and you've worked out all of that, now it's time to start going to look for properties. Contact an agent who's used to working with investment properties. Most are, but just double check. And what I like to do is I like to go out on an afternoon and look at 3, 4, 5, something like that, because these maybe the investor's looking to buy 3, so we're going to look at a bunch of them. So we'll spend a few days looking at properties. We look at a bunch of different properties. We go around and we see where we are. They pick some, you make an offer, and you go. If you're new to this, I recommend heavily that you start with 1 or 2 properties. Get your feet wet. Find out the cities, because each city's got a different requirement. I know that Warren requires a $300 fee from the landlord to apply for a license. The license means that then the city's going to come out and inspect the property before your renter can move in. The inspection will come by, they'll look and they'll make sure it's up to code. I've seen some properties where things are just bad. People are living in horrendous conditions, but it's a rental property, and you don't want to be that landlord. So that's what the city's license is intended to do. The city comes out and keeps up. The license has to be renewed every year. The city comes out and does an inspection just to make sure everything is up to speed and doing what it's supposed to be. You don't want to be a slumlord. You want to be a landlord that does a good job and takes care of their tenants. So pick a couple of properties, find the right ones. Find the ones that fit your niche, find the ones that you can make money at while you're following the other things that we talked about, whether you're going to be renting this, whether you're going to be flipping it, whether you're doing the work yourself, that kind of thing. Work with your agent. Your agent will help you make an offer, and then hopefully you get the property. Once you get it, then it's in, clean it up, get it ready for renting, and rent the property out, or sell it, or flip it, whatever you're going to do. Anyway, those are some things to think about. If you've got other questions about properties, investment properties, anything of that nature, give me a call, 248-568-7763. You can text me at that number. You can email me at kevinsbcentury21, that's all one word, @gmail.com. Okay, so I told you we were going to talk about an investment property that I have. This one is 1,150 square feet. It's on Hollywood Avenue in Highland Park. 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Soon will be vacant. The tenant has found another place and is moving out, I don't know, sometime here this month or so. There's no rush on that. She's a very good tenant, long-term, has been. She's just decided she's going to move to another property. This is a colonial, so there's an upstairs, downstairs. Asking price at this point is $90,000. If you got questions, let me know. I'll be happy to show the property to you. Showings will start in a couple of weeks, and we will see where things go from there. hopefully we'll have a good sale. And there'll be other ones. I'll talk about other properties on subsequent shows that can be listed or can be bought that are investments. Some of a residential. You know, I'll run the gamut on that. All right. With that, it's time for that special time of the show where we talk about New York Times scores and how I did today. On Wordle, it took me 5 guesses to get the word correct today. Still solved the problem, solved the dilemma. Got the word, but took me 5 guesses. On connections, I solved it, but with 1 mistake. It was not a perfect game today. Got all 4 of the categories together, had 1 mistake, so it was okay. Strands, I did very well with strands. I solved the puzzle with 0 hints required. Everything worked out pretty well on that one. And then last but not least, the New York Times mini crossword puzzle. I solved it in 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Can anyone beat that? Give me a call. Let me know how you did. Shoot me a text. You can respond online if you see this on what your scores were. How did you do today on the New York Times crosswords and other puzzles? With that, it's time to go out and take a walk with me in real estate. I'm Kevin. Give me a call, 248-568-7763. We'll see you next week. Thanks.